YC just released their own AA harness. I want to show you what makes it unique, how to set it up, and give you an entire breakdown. Let me show you right now. This happened literally just a few days ago with the release of QM. Now, what is QM? You can think of QM as a Hermes agent or an open code agent. But one of the things that makes it very, very interesting is the fact that it actually conceived for startups, but also multiplayer. Now, what does that mean? It means that it actually has a lot of features that make it super, super simple for teams to collaborate together by using AI agents, which is one of the major pain points that we have right now with major providers such as OpenAI or Anthropic. Now, it also has a couple of nicer features. So, everything that you would expect automations with cron jobs, skills, memory, etc. Everything will be available in the GitHub repo that I'm going to be sharing with you. Everything is open source. And of course, you can now customize QM to really fit all of the needs that you have inside of your startup for, or your organization. Now, if we go over the GitHub repo just a tiny bit, there's a few features that make QM unique on top of the fact that it is actually a multiplayer agent. And the first one right here that I would really like to share is the admin dashboard. The admin dashboard gives you an entire overview, not only how AI should be used inside of your organization, but also how it is actually being used. And on top of that, the web application functionality that makes it super simple for people to share all of the live coded applications. You no longer have to just handle a lot of repos. You don't really have to just ask people to send you links, even just check if the link is still valid. Everything is done from the same interface. Something that is quite interesting for QM as well as is the fact that it doesn't only live through a web application. It lives in two spaces simultaneously. So it actually behaves like a control room more than just an AI agent. On top of living in the web application, it also lives in Slack. So it is a harness that natively works in Slack, just like Claw Tag or Hermes or OpenClaw. Now, on top of it, the company agent that is QM actually has several different memories. It has the memory of everything that it remembers about you. It has the memory of the Slack channel where it is actually working in case you use it in Slack. It has the memory of the project. Project can be both private or shared. And on top of this, each of those channels gets their own right. So, memory, files, skills, all within a very, very narrow scope. And of course, you get to choose as well the things that you actually want to share. Now, this is what QM looks like. So, it's a very simple UI, everything that you would expect from an AI agent or an AI application at this point. You have the capacity of handling projects. Right here, I have a personal project, but I can also create a project with my teammates. The chat right here, I have a few test chats just to see how it actually behaves. I'm using Luna. So, one of the things right now that you actually have understand is you cannot use your subscription for this. It is actually just API based, but you can actually modify it or ask someone to modify it for you. So you can actually use your OpenAI subscription like you do with Hermes or OpenCloud. If not, you actually have to use API keys for this. That means that using this with open source models such as DeepSeek 4 or Kimiko 3 is actually the way to go. Now, right here on the application, this is what you actually see when you are actually a user. So you have your files. Again, if you share your files here, you get to choose whether you're going to share them only with yourself or you're going to share it with your teammates. You have your cron jobs. This is literally the same as scheduled tasks or routines that would see on Claude or just scheduled jobs on OpenAI. Now here's where the things gets interesting. Here you have two unique features from Q1. First being the keychain. Now, now that we are all using AI, people are trying to just share the API keys through chats, and that's a very bad practice. Keychain makes it super simple for people to share credentials without actually sharing the key itself. So it gives you massive security and actually helps you avoid data leakage. Now, the second one is applications. Inside of this applications tab is where you would find all of the applications created by your teammates. They are actually just creating applications for you. Right here at the top, you have the button to deploy the application with that agent. And last but not least, you of course have the two more standard things, which are now memory and skills, plus nice features such as being able to switch between light and dark mode. Now we are in the admin dashboard for QM. Right here, you can check all of the sessions of what people are doing, both through the desktop application, the web application, and also through Slack. So it is not connected to my Slack, of course, but right here, as you can see, We actually have the message that I sent just a couple of minutes ago asking QM how it is doing. Now, now the judgment tab is something that is extremely interesting to see as well. Why? Because whenever you are actually running a lot of AI agents inside of your organization, it is very hard to keep track of not just what is being done, but also why. Now, the judgment tab gives you the exact visual that you need. It shows you all of the things that are being done by the agents and also all of the explanations that agents are giving you as to why they are actually doing that work. Now, here, always in the admin panel, you have all of the artifacts. This is really everything that you would see inside of your own user view already. You have your files, so you can see everything that was shared by your members. You have the skills. Something that is quite interesting to see is the fact that it actually comes preloaded with skills. Right here, one of my favorite skill really is the onboarding skill that actually just onboards on entire user into an AI agent hub being QM. Now, something that is quite interesting to see as well is the fact that we don't have GStack. GStack is one package of skills that was created by Gary Tan and is actually not here. You have a test skill right here, which may actually be useful. Of course, you can even just take the skills and include them in your actual cloud plan if you don't plan on using QM, but you actually want to see how people are using this multiplayer hub. Here in the memory, you have the organization memory. This is where everything regarding the organization is actually shared. You have your deployments and your crons. This is where you see not only your automations, but everyone's else automation. Now, another key point right here is the metrics. So, for the metrics, you actually get to measure every single thing that is important when it comes to AI usage. So, how many people are actually using it? What is the total amount of tokens being used? How long is it taking to get a response, etc. Here you have all of those metrics, which is actually amazing. Now, for the remaining of the admin panel, you actually have everything that is linked to governance. So you have the onboarding of people. This is where you actually put new users inside of the application whenever you need. Here you have the governance tab. And honestly, I can make an entire video by itself because everything in here is actually super interesting. It gives you all of the boundaries that you have to respect whenever you're working with these type of agents like Hermes, OpenClaw, etc. You have all of the model permissions, you have all of the credentials, and also the data boundaries. As you know, whenever you actually work at a company, not everyone has access to the same data, and that is one of the biggest pain points when it comes to working multiplayer with this type of tool. It's very hard to get the scopes right, and this does it natively. Of course, you have the capacity of sharing connectors, checking out all of the users, and this is the keychain, which is the feature that allows you to share all of the credentials without actually sharing the credential key, which is amazing. And last but not least, you also have the audit. Audit allows you to see all of the events that were run by members inside your organization, as well as the tool calls, for example. Now, this is everything that you can see when you actually use the admin board through QM. As you can see, it literally is an entire command center for AI that is now open source. So if you see things that are missing here, you can simply add them with QM by itself. Or you can actually use Codex or Cloud Code to do improvements. One of the key things here that I want to mention is the fact right now it doesn't have a simple way of using authentication for subscription to be able to run the agents inside of here. So that is probably one of the features that I would add myself if I were to use this. Now you really have the entirety of all the controls inside of QM. And it's super interesting to see that for the first time, I think ever, we might be getting a large scale multiplayer sandbox for AI. So you can call it a harness as well, but the one that is actually multiplayer. So right now, we are starting to see how we are going to change from just using our own AI agents individually to running an entire, I would say, second company inside of your own company, which is super exciting. Now, this was everything that you needed to know about QM. Of course, all of the links are down in the description below. You can literally just give it to your coding agent and say, please run this QM instance for me. It actually does need a few changes to be able to run locally, mainly because it asks you for access to Slack immediately, and you don't really have to give the access. You can always skip it. Feel free to check everything that I left in the description for you. I hope that you really enjoy this video and learn what the future open source agent is, more towards the multiplayer side. Catch you soon. See you in the next video. And please subscribe.